Hi, welcome. My name is Tina, and if you're new here, I had traditional duodenal switch surgery on June 9th of 2020. I am currently just over 18 months out from my surgery. My statistics are my highest weight ever, which was probably about 10 years ago or so, is 340 pounds. The day I met Dr. Srikanth for the initial consultation before I had my surgery was late February of 2020. On that day, I weighed 282 pounds. My day of surgery, which was 3 or 4 months later, on June 9th of 2020, on that day I weighed 262 pounds, and today I weigh 178 pounds. And I'm kind of my weight loss has slowed significantly in probably the last 6 months to 9 months, and I'm okay with that because I'm not gaining, so I feel great with it. I still I still really have the goal of getting in the 150s. Even if I was just 159, I would feel really cool about that, but we'll see. We'll see where I'm at. I've got my mindset is, I'm very goal oriented, and my mindset is on the 2-year mark, which will be next June. So I'm anxious to see what my weight is at that time. I'm trying really hard to limit my simple carbs, I think, is the key. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Today I just wanted to kind of talk about, I was thinking about, 18 months it feels like really, really fast. I feel like my surgery was recently. And part of that, I'll be almost 52 years old, so I think the older you get, the faster time flies. At least that's what I hear. But this period of time has just passed so fast for me, and I don't know. I just have some things that I was thinking about. If I was talking to somebody that had not had surgery yet, who's considering having surgery, what would I say to them? And I've done videos sort of like this before. When I was a year out, I think I did one sort of like that or whatever. But 18 months is kind of a significant time away. Kind of a significant period of time has passed since my actual surgery, so I just thought I would kind of touch on what I wish I knew before I had surgery at this point. So I made some notes. Let me get a drink. I have kind of a dry throat right now. Excuse me. I guess the one thing I would like to say while I'm drinking water is that all the habits that you develop before your surgery and right after your surgery, the drinking water, sipping all the time, focusing on protein, focusing on figuring out what amount of fat you need every day to make yourself comfortable, those are habits that don't go away. Like, I still have all of that. I still have a certain amount of water that I drink before I even start my day. A certain amount of, my goal is still 150 grams of protein. I'm really not very good at that lately. I've been really sliding in that area. So I'm going to have to get back into, drinking the protein shakes, which I'm trying really hard to get away from, but I'm back up to 2 a day. But anyway, so back to the topic of this video. What I wish I knew before surgery. What I wish I knew before surgery is that those of us who have had children, there's labor, childbirth and labor are very, very painful. And I even had like an epidural. I have 2 children. My youngest is 31. I had an epidural, and I had, pain medication and things when I was going through labor, but it's still very, very, very painful. And you just think about it like, that doesn't matter after you have your baby, right? If you have the baby and the pain stops and you have this child and that's your focus and everything, your whole mind shifts from the pain that you went through. And it kind of feels the same with the surgery. When you first get out of your surgery, yeah, there's pain. I didn't have a lot of pain. I think that especially when I was in the hospital, I was in the hospital for 2 nights, which I don't think is always the case. I had a blood clot after my surgery, so I had to go back in for surgery the second day to remove the blood clot. But I don't remember being in any pain at surgery. I remember being uncomfortable. And part of that, most of that, I think, was just because, you got this IV and you're kind of stuck in bed. And it's, I'm a person that showers every day. I couldn't shower. I couldn't really get out of bed except for when I had to go to the bathroom, and then somebody had to help me. So that, mostly the helping part was just being attached to the IV thing. But anyway, there's hard days. You are going to have hard days. It's not just smooth sailing. And I didn't really have any complications other than the blood clot that I mentioned, which was handled the next day. And I didn't really know, that was something that my surgeon knew, and I wasn't really conscious of, other than having to go back into surgery. But you do have hard days. There's times where your stomach hurts really bad. I had a really hard time bending at the waist for probably the first month. I remember 2 weeks, I had a 2-week doctor's appointment with Dr. Srikanth. I had to go into the office. You have a 2-week appointment. They weigh you, they see how you're doing. And I remember at that point I still couldn't bend at the waist. But I do remember that about a month out, I was able to bend at the waist. And so it hurt when I would try to bend at the waist. I mean, there's so much going on with your stomach area after you have surgery. There's so many incisions and there's so many stitches, and it's not, it's just uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I wouldn't say it's really painful. I wasn't really in pain, but I was on, I took a little bit, I didn't have that many pain medication. I think I had, one day I was on prescription pain medication after the hospital, and then they just told me to take Tylenol, or extra strength Tylenol. So that's, I mean, just if I think about that now, if I have a headache now, I usually look for something more strong than extra strength Tylenol. I mean, I would usually go for ibuprofen or something like that. So that's not very much pain. If you think about it, if it's manageable with extra strength Tylenol, it's pretty good. There's days that 18 months out, there's days that I still really struggle with emotional eating, and I wish that wasn't true. It's kind of forced me to take a really long, hard look at why I let myself get 340 pounds. I was in a really bad marriage for a while. I had some really bad emotional abuse situations, and mental, verbal, physical, and the way I felt comfortable, the only thing really I could do was eat. And so I've had to kind of look back at that situation, because now if I still have that tendency. If I feel uncomfortable or bored, or think about something, like something unpleasant happens, I just want to eat something. It makes me feel better. And it still does, even though I can say I'm so grateful that I didn't start off with a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, because I feel like my eating habits are so bad that I could have probably pushed this restriction so much that it wouldn't have really mattered as much. I mean, I'm really lucky that I have the malabsorption part that I do with the duodenal switch. I'm really grateful that I just happened to meet somebody that suggested that I have that rather than the sleeve surgery first, because I just think I've got some pretty bad habits regarding food. So I'm working on that still, but it's still there. 18 months out, and I've lost so much weight. I've lost 162 pounds from my top weight. Still have those habits. So, and also getting used to how you process food. It's kind of an adventure, I guess you could think of it. If you overeat, it's extremely uncomfortable. If you eat certain things that you shouldn't eat, it tastes great at the time, but you might have, it takes, for your digestion process to work, it takes a little bit of time, right? So the next morning when you're trying to go to the bathroom or whatever is going on, you might feel really, really sick and really, really awful, or you might wake up in the middle of the night with just very bad pain because you ate too much sugar or carbs or whatever, and your body's not happy with that. And so it's been kind of an adventure learning how my body deals with food now, and how my body deals with my overeating and my eating things that I shouldn't eat. I really haven't had a problem with eating things that I shouldn't eat. I think that you know, your body's, I mean, I really don't think there's something that you should label as something you shouldn't eat, but it's the overeating of the things that you shouldn't eat. So instead of just having a cookie, 3 cookies is probably way too much for me. It has that's a lot of sugar for my little system right now. So I would have consequences for that. I do have consequences for that. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I just eat the cookies, but try not to. I'm work in progress. So I can tell you that the self-esteem piece is not automatic. You don't lose 160 pounds and suddenly feel great about yourself. I'm still the same person. I still have the same insecurities. I still, well, then there's this part where I try on clothes and they fit, but they look super weird because I've got so much loose skin, specifically my thighs and my hips and my, I don't have a lot of loose skin on my stomach, but my arms are pretty bad. Like, it's not like you can lose all this weight and then suddenly look great in all your clothes. You're still hiding all this skin. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow if you think about it, because I have lost a lot of weight and I want to be just ready to look great all the time, and that's not the situation at all. Loose skin is a real thing and it's a real problem, and yeah, I'm hoping to when I get to around 150-ish, I can pursue skin surgery. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But body dysmorphia is real. I still look in the mirror and see 340 pounds of Tina instead of 178 pounds. I still feel like that has a lot to do with the skin. I feel like if the skin was gone, I wouldn't still see that fat person. But maybe that's just my theory. That's just what I think. Body dysmorphia is real. You don't look at yourself for 50 years one certain way and then suddenly look at yourself differently. I mean, that's just not how it works. But I want to end this on a very positive note, and I hope that it's clear to everybody watching my channel, that everybody's watching this video, that I am absolutely amazed at how wonderful this whole process has been. My surgery has been great. I had very little issues. I've had very little issues. I don't have, I don't have problems getting my protein in. I don't really have any problems getting my water in. I've been very, very, very lucky, and I'm very, very glad that I chose this surgery. I would have done it a million times over. People ask me if I would do this or the sleeve or RNY, and I never had the sleeve or RNY, so it's hard for me to really speak to those two things. But for me, I think the malabsorption and the restriction has just kind of been the perfect combination, and I absolutely love it. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. I wake up happy. I wake up ready to go, and I wake up looking forward to things and thinking about things that I could do and things that I don't know. It's just there's just so much different. And if I think about how I used to wake up and it used to be so depressing, and I always had this every morning. It was like, what diet? What am I going to do today? And it's so freeing to not worry about that stuff as much. And not think about that stuff as much, and how am I going to lose all this weight, and what am I going to do? And I most days I wake up very, very happy, and I much happier than I was before I had surgery. I can tell you that for sure. And the other thing I wanted to just kind of touch on briefly is that I was thinking about this recently. If you lose 170 pounds, you I used to be 340 pounds, and I was that weight for a very long time. And I had full-time jobs at that weight, and I had 2 small children at that weight, and I had a normal existence and a normal life, and I interacted with a lot of people in a day-to-day situation. And I look at people that are extremely overweight. If I see somebody that's extremely overweight, I feel like I identify with that person, like almost immediately. Like I feel that person, I feel what they're going through. I feel like, you know, it's such a struggle. Every little thing is just such a struggle, and you don't really realize it at the time because it's kind of normal. You know, you're really just getting through a day. And part of me wishes that I could share about my weight loss surgery, but I mean, I would never do that. I would never go up to somebody and tell them that, you know, you should think about weight loss surgery, or even I would never say anything to anybody about their weight ever. But I do have those thoughts of, I mean, her life would be so much different if she, you know, could, I don't know, just the thought I had. And I just want to share that it's so important to be compassionate. And even if you do lose a whole bunch of weight, you still were there, you know, you're not different. And just because I found this amazing surgery, and I just happened to luck into getting it, when I wasn't even pursuing it, I was pursuing the sleeve surgery, you know, it's still my job to be compassionate and, humbled around people that are still struggling with losing weight and morbid obesity. And it's, you know, it's rough, and I just wanted to put it out there. I just think it's really important to be mindful of talking about, you know, how losing weight and everything, and when other people around you aren't there, just got to kind of be sensitive and remember how you felt at that point. Just kind of a thought I wanted to share with you. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying this holiday season. I hope you have a great Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is you're celebrating. I hope you enjoy it, or not celebrating. You don't have to celebrate anything. I just hope you're having a great time, and I hope life is treating you well, and I will see you next time. I'm not sure I'm going to have another video this month, but I do have a favorites video for 2021 that I'm going to have on January 5th. So that might be my next video. So if in that case, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.